Yeah, Coach, what are some of the things you think y'all can build on and fix from the first outing?
Yeah, obviously a lot to clean up from the first outing. Take full responsibility for what happened on Sunday, just with some of the operation things and some of those things that we can control. Just to clean up the overall operation, I think is the biggest thing. And so we're certainly looking at ourselves as coaches first and foremost on that, knowing that if we just operate the way we can and we don't turn the football over, the result of those games can be different. But the result is what it is. Certainly disappointed with what happened the other day, but we're cleaning those things up. There was great urgency out at practice today, and guys are ready to roll and get back to and we'll get up to Philly and expecting a good night.
And will there be more diversity moving forward? There was numbers in the shotgun and the pistol, which were run and pass heavy.
Yeah, I think sometimes those things, context is always going to matter in those cases. I think just based on the flow of the game and how things go. But we felt good about the plan going in, and we love the pistol. We love being underneath the center when it calls for it. We love being in the shotgun. We'll continue to mix those things up. But certainly the game plan going into it was what it was, and we'll just kind of keep it moving.
Was any part of your play calling predicated by any concerns about Kirk's mobility or health?
No, absolutely not. It just kind of went with the flow of the game. I think early on in the game we did some good things. Obviously the first drive, the first half, we had a couple good things going. Second half, the penalties and some of those things that just kicked us back and put us in some second and longers and third and longers. Those were really tough situations to be in, where you're in a little bit more of a drop back pass type of mode in those situations. So, it's certainly not concerned with Kirk's mobility at all. He's looked great out there. He's moving around really well today, so no concerns at all.
He's been good under center, at least of late in his career, and not under center at all. What's the reason?
Yeah, I think, some of the run game and how we set it up, we'll change those things week to week. It's we're never married to one thing or the other. Those things will ever be evolving based on the game plan of that week. But certainly like the pistol, we did it a ton with the Rams last year, and it's something that gives you great versatility across the board. So we'll continue to find those spots to mix it.
The pistol gives you the best of both worlds there in terms of
that was something that we last year with the Rams, we realized, like, man, you really have kind of everything at your disposal because you're in the dot, and you kind of have your play pass, you have everything, you have your drop back pass still intact there. So like what the versatility of the pistol does bring, but again, we'll continue to mix it, and I'll be base to base on a week to week basis.
How much did what Pittsburgh was doing really affect what you guys were able to establish and be able to call?
Yeah, I think they make it difficult. That's a really good defense. They got good schemes. They have great camaraderie across the board. There's really no weaknesses in their defense. So certainly they presented some challenges schematically and obviously with their personnel that made it different. But I think if we operate and execute the way that we can, it could be a different story. But obviously they did their business, and we didn't take care of it.
When you and Kurt got together early on and through training camp and whatnot, how much of his pre-snap alignment was discussed or?
Yeah, I think you're constantly talking about those things and what he's comfortable with. Kirk's tinkered with his stance throughout his career. He's been right foot up, left foot up. He's mixed in some square stances here. So I would leave it up to him in terms of the comfortability that he has with some of those. But yeah, there's certainly conversations that go on in terms of what he feels like is most comfortable for him, and that's the most important thing.
It was noted that there was no play action or no bootleg stuff. Is that just by design, or how would you explain it?
Yeah, I think, again, the flow of the game and how things went, there were some that were called that, based on the defensive look, didn't end up getting called. So I think those will continue to be mixed in, but certainly the way the game plan went and the way the just overall flow of the game kind of took us out of a few of those things.
How would you evaluate your offensive line play?
Yeah, I think those guys did a good job. I think there's, you talk to Coach Ledford and those guys, they think they can play better, which we're expecting those guys to be one of the top units in the league. And so there's some things that across the board we're all cleaning up. Like I said, myself, all of us as coaches, we're all cleaning up. But I think the level of expectation and the level of standard that, everybody has for that group is going to be really high, just like it is for the rest of the skill guys.
When you look at the tape and are breaking things down, did you find anything that was kind of a consistent problem throughout the game, or was it just a mismatch of things that were happening?
It kind of seemed like a mismatch of things. Certainly would love to avoid the turnovers, would love the operation to be cleaner, just on my part to Kirk and everything. So it seemed like it started to snowball in the second half. It felt hard out there. We were in some tough situations there, some known passing situations that we definitely don't want to be in. So I think early down efficiency is going to be a big key, and that's going to be every single week. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way in the second half.
Used Bijan on 50 of 56 of the offensive snaps. Is that pretty similar to kind of what you are envisioning his role to be, where he is like this offense feels like it runs through it?
Yeah, I think, again, not to over-evaluate just 1 week of football is going to be the biggest thing, but Bijan and Tyler, they'll continue to get mixed in. Coach Petrie does a great job mixing those guys in. So that'll be, again, week to week, flow of the game, all those different things. But certainly after 1 week, it's still, a little bit up in the air.
Do you feel like you and Kirk learned a lot about each other in that first week, and what have conversations been like since then?
Yeah, I think you're constantly, learning about each other. Obviously that was the first time in a real game, real setting, so those things naturally are going to start coming up. But our conversations have always been open and honest. He's such an honest guy and lets you know what he likes, what he doesn't like. And those conversations have been since the spring, and those will continue to go on all season long. But we're continuing to gel and find the right spot there, and I think it'll just continue to grow throughout the season.
Kirk was talking about after the game on Sunday, he likes to send voice notes to his coaches, just things he's immediately seen. Just curious if you got any voice notes, how lengthy they were, and if you thought they were valuable feedback.
No, I haven't got many voice notes in my day except for Kirk, and it's great because I know he doesn't want to sit there and type it, so I'll just put it on speakerphone and hear what he's got to say, and it's all good. I usually don't send a voice note back because that's not my style, but no, it's good. He gets everything out. He doesn't want to talk on the phone, which I get. Everybody's at home with their families, so certainly have got some voice notes from Kirk, and it's been good communication because that's all he wants is good communication across the board, and that's exactly what you get with him.
I know you're taking full responsibility for what happened on Sunday. You said that off the jump, but how much of what you saw did you really feel like was quote-unquote rust from some of the guys out there?
Yeah, I think, the first drive, you're looking at it, and there were some good things that happened in that drive. So I know for those guys, everybody's first time out there, you're shaking off the rust a little bit. The speed of the game is so much different than practice, so that it's a different feel for those guys. But, the way we started off, pretty good drive there. We're pretty close on the third and long to Bijan, almost popped that. But I don't know if it was a ton of rust. It was just really the speed of the game. And then, like I said, the flow just kind of dictated some of those things as well.
Was Drake London's situational flow deal where he's, I think, 2 catches?
Yeah, yeah, sure. There's, obviously depending on the defensive looks and those things that present themselves, certainly got to get him involved a little bit more. But there's opportunities out there for him to have more catches. Sometimes the defense gives you a look where the ball's got to go the other way. And so those are the things that we're continuing to look at, but definitely got to get Drake rolling because he's a really good player. He's going to have a great season for us.
Coach, what are some of the keys you've been studying given the Eagles' stout defense, and what are you expecting to see Monday night?
Yeah, again, another tough test. Really good defense, really good up front, good at the second level. They've got some experience with Slay, obviously, on the back end there, and then they've got some younger guys that can really play with the new corner that they just drafted. So another great challenge for us offensively. I'm going to have to match their physicality and the way that they play up front, but definitely excited for those guys just to get back out and go play because I know they're chomping at the bit.
Looking back with the offensive line and the way that TJ Watt was done, there's more you could or should have done to help Caleb?
Yeah, we felt like there was a good plan going in to get some presence on his side. Certainly, not every single play can be that way, but we had a good chip plan going in for him. Unfortunately, we just didn't execute that.
I know that
After week one, there's been some data that's coming out showing air yards are just coming down week one compared to last year's week one, the year before that, and then also just overall, just the passing yardage is increasing over the last few years. What do you think that is?
Yeah, I think there's more defensive structures that you're seeing that are playing, top down, playing deep to short, making you go underneath. Obviously, the stat that's out there all the time is explosive plays and turnovers. If you have a ton of explosive plays, you're going to have a good offense. If you eliminate turnovers, you're going to have a good offense. So defenses understand that. They know they want to make you drive the length of the field. So I definitely think that's the case. But again, after week one, it's hard to say if that stat's going to continue to stay like that.
I know that the way that you operate as an offensive coordinator is going to be ever evolving, but is there anything that you learned from yourself, whether it be minor tweaks to the call sheet and the way that you set it up or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. Always looking at what is the most simple way to find things as you're looking on game day. You know where everything's at, going into it, but I think there are some things that you can just subtly tweak as you're going through your process that can help you out. So to answer your question, definitely.
Field?
In some aspects, I had no idea what the crowd noise was like. I had to ask somebody, 2 days ago, I asked TJ, I was like, what was the crowd like, by the way? I had no, just so secluded up there. So you miss a little bit of that, but know that it was a great atmosphere out there. You do miss kind of being in the action a little bit, but definitely feel like the booth is going to be the most beneficial going forward.
Couple more guys. As they're still trying to learn each other and gel, as you mentioned, how much more of a challenge is it that you have 2 primetime games against 2 really tough opponents?
Sure, that's all these games are so hard in the NFL, as you guys know. They're all so close. There's all good defenses. They all present different challenges in their own right. So whether it's a primetime game or a day game, I think it'll feel the exact same once the ball's snapped. Obviously, the anticipation for some of these primetime games leading up to it feels a little bit different. But once the ball's snapped, it's football at the end of the day. So, it's going to be fun to see these guys on Monday night because I know they're going to be excited to play.
What are you hoping to learn from these things?
Yeah, I think just overall operation and, obviously going to a tough environment, up to Philadelphia. It's going to be rocking up there. So just hoping for a clean communication across the board with everybody. And, hopefully we'll get our best foot forward if we just operate and just have great communication across the board.
What did you learn last week about doing that and not letting it kind of snowball, to use your word?
Say that again.
What did you learn in week 1 to not have it snowball and kind of like she was saying?
Yeah, I think, turnovers and penalties definitely hurt you. Those are the things that we're going to try to eliminate going into this next game. But the flow of the game last week was just such a weird second half that you don't want to lose sight of the good things that we did do in the first half in some of those drives. So definitely a lot to learn from that game. But the second half, we just got to make sure that we're not killing ourselves with penalties, trying to stay ahead of the chain, staying efficient on first down to help us out.
What were some of those positives in the first half then?
Yeah, I thought we were able to run it pretty well. Obviously, that drive, at the end of the half was big to be able to score a touchdown there. Great, Kirk did a great job moving off the spot and finding Kyle there. But there was some good things. Obviously, would have loved to eliminate that turnover early, but I thought overall we had opportunities to convert on some of the third downs. We'd love to hit those, but there was just there was a little bit better flow, obviously, in that first half, and we were able to run it pretty decent, throw it decent, and then the second half, obviously, like we said, just kind of snowballed.
Would you foresee that in coming games that the under center and shotgun pistol be more mixed, or to be anticipated?
Yeah, I think we'll always keep those things in house in terms of how we're game planning. We've have the ability to do all three. Felt like that was the best plan. Going into week 1, again, not going to overvaluate one game and 50 so snaps that we ended up having. So again, the flow of the game kind of dictated some different things, and we'll definitely always look inward on those things, but know that we'll be able to mix it whenever we want.
Jessie, the defense on Sunday, of course, played well, especially second half shutting down, even though it was in a loss. What are the talks now as far as the defense? I know you all have been proud, but of course with the loss, how do you all decide between that?
Yeah, I think week in and week out, you want to grade your performance, and like you said, I thought we did a really good job of stopping them not from getting into the end zone. There was a couple quick turnarounds where the offense gave up the ball, and that quick transition sometimes can get a defense off guard, and I thought we responded very well to that, and forcing those guys to kick a field goal. Anytime as a defense, you get in those situations, you want to give the opposite team a attempt at making those field goals, and I think that kicker Boswell, I mean, he went about 5 for 5 or whatever it was, 57, 55, 50, whatever it was. He did a really good job of executing. So, yeah, it's just, week in and week out, it's just, getting better and finding ways that, we can keep them at 9 points, during that game rather than just keep letting them kick field goals. So, as a defense, our job is to keep it lower than what our offense has scored. So, yeah, there was a lot of positives, but some things that we can get better at as well.
With Justin Simmons coming in, of course, great safety, but were you surprised as far as how chemistry was there? Did he play? Yeah. Were you surprised with the chemistry as far as, that quick?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, Justin, since day one, Justin's been a guy that's played a lot of football in this league. He is somebody that can pick up on stuff very quickly, and that process is very smooth, very clean. So no surprise there at all, no.
As a leader, how do you, with the defense, kind of talk to them after a loss where it's like your unit performed well?
Yeah, like I said, there's still situations where, before the half, on myself, I think me and AJ, we gave up that field goal before the half. That's something that you can get better at in those certain situations. But overall, like I said, you want to, as a defense, you want to keep them lower than what our offense has scored. And I think that's really the teaching point there is just find a way to get turnovers. I think the turnover battle was 3-0. It's very hard to win in this league if you're down 3 on a turnover battle. So, there's a lot of positives, like I said, but we can get better at, taking the ball away, creating some more opportunities for our offense.
Jesse, could you discuss their weapons and the problems they present with the 2 wideouts, big tight end, and now they got Saquon?
Yeah, I think they do a really good job. Obviously every week's going to presents its own challenge. With a running quarterback that can run a little bit, zone read it, and then you got 2, really good receivers that he can throw it up to as well. So, like I said, I think they do a really good job of getting their players the ball in space. This game can sometimes be, complicated by some coaches, but I think they do a really good job of just getting the ball out to, some of their playmakers and, letting them do the work after. So, we got to tackle very well. I thought we did a really good job last week of tackling and swarming to the football, and that'll be the same thing for this week.
Jesse, how do you approach Jalen Hurts' ability to extend plays with his legs? How do you, as a defensive back unit, how do you guys approach that?
Yeah, like I said, the first part is, defending the zone read part of it when he actually takes off and run. And then obviously the other part of it is when he can extend plays. And, as a defense, we talk about plastering and, getting tight on to your guys if we're in a zone or something like that. You got to tie in on one guy. And, like I said, our D-line didn't have a lot of opportunities to go get the quarterback last week with, a lot of these boots and stuff that we got last week. But this week I think we'll have a little bit more true drop back, and hopefully those guys can go get the quarterback. So, yeah.
You personally, when you watch TV on film and you see them do the push tush, are you looking like, how are they not able to stop that, or does that go through your head?
Yeah, it's that's what they do. That's part of their strength. I think we stopped the 4th and 1, similar to a tush push last week. There's no right or wrong answer to defending that, but if you could get those guys off on, mess up their snap mechanics, and second time, they went hard count, I think, the second time. So it's just being detailed on that type of stuff that, it might happen once or twice throughout the game, but just being prepared for it.
Anything else?
You've played in a few primetime games yourself, but how excited are the Falcons to have this opportunity for the first time in a while?
Yeah, last year I think we were playing at 1 o'clock every day, which is cool. But it's pretty cool to see, our team get on a primetime type of game where the whole world's watching, and there's still going to be a normal football game. There's still going to be the same amount of time on the clock. Just be a little bit more hype behind it, nationally televised, and for us to go show out and show the world what we can do. And this week too is our goal is just to go 1-0 this week. No matter if it's a primetime game or whatever type of game it is, it's to go 1-0 and get a win on the column.
And how did you feel things went with you and Justin back there together for the first time?
Yeah, me and Justin, we were watching some film throughout last week, and just, this is my first time, not playing only to the nickel side. So just being able to have that freedom with Justin and having his knowledge throughout my preparation throughout the week has been really good to see. Just to see how he prepares and how I prepare, very similar. So there was no problems at all as far as communications or anything like that. So super excited to continue to play with him and continue to grow.
And it was one little graphic out on the internet where all the throws were outside. Did that mean y'all shut down the middle of the field, or
yeah,
limiting him to throw?
Yeah, I think last week was a whole different, deal. Art sent me a text actually, and he kept the ball out of the middle field for a reason, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, that's something that throughout each game plan I think will be different. But yeah, that was a pretty cool chart to see.
Are you still watching film with Kirk?
Not so much. We're kind of on our own, offense and defense kind of thing. We might talk throughout the week and see what the offense presenting this week, what's the defense presenting, and stuff like that. So yeah, not much going against Kirk right now. Watching film with him, just more defensive side.
How have you seen him then otherwise kind of respond to Sunday?
Yeah, this is something that we talked about, throughout the, OTAs and stuff like that. The guys that are going to get the most criticism on this team is, Ra, our head coach, and Kirk. And Kirk is somebody that's not sensitive to criticism. He's been there before, and I know he's a leader on this team, and I know how he'll respond to it. So, it's still the same Kirk. There's just 1 week's not going to define who he is, who we are as a team, and like I said, I wouldn't put my money on anybody else but Kirk when we're in those type of situations. So he's a guy that's handled adversity multiple times throughout his career, and I know he'll respond well.
Arthur Smith kind of outed you that you texted him about that George Pickens play just before half, that you caught me sleeping right before half, and he said, yeah, I lulled you to sleep and got you disinterested, and said that we set him up situationally, but he's a great player. Sometimes it's just very practical. What can you say about a coach kind of talking like that in that whole situation?
Yeah, I always say I'm super thankful for Art. He has a big, reason for why I'm here in Atlanta, and just so much respect for him as a person, as a coach as well. And, he puts his players in good positions to be successful and make sure the opposite team isn't making plays. So, I hate Art for that, but I love him at the same time. So much love to him.
So, Bijan, this is your first primetime game. How are you feeling as you go through the week preparing for this one?
Yeah, I'm super excited. Obviously, primetime games what you want as a team. But yeah, I'm really excited to get going out there, and especially in Philadelphia, where their fans are super hostile. So I'm excited. I can't wait to go out there and play.
Was it an adjustment to start the game last week, knowing that you all didn't play against any live, against the opponent live, with a live situation, anything like that? Was it hard to adjust as the offense in the beginning? Yeah,
I mean, obviously, with us, being our first time playing with each other, we're all trying to get used to the schemes and the plays, and just trying to fill out what the game's gonna look like. But it was definitely an adjustment because obviously those are flying bullets out there, and you got guys trying to come take you out every single play. So yeah, definitely at the beginning of the game, we had to get used to it. But then as the game started going on, especially me individually, it started to slow down, and it started to get back to just regular football. But definitely this week, we're definitely prepared for what's to come.
Bijan, you had a good game last week against Pittsburgh. How do you assess your performance, and what are some areas that you're trying to focus on and continuing to improve?
Yeah, for me, and I was just talking to my coach, but just the standard that we have, it could be a lot better. Because obviously it's first game, but we have such high expectations, and I have such high expectations for myself. Just little things, and continue to just press the line of scrimmage, and don't get antsy. And obviously I was just a little antsy on some of the plays, just because it was first time out there and first time trying to get the speed down. But even just creating, mismatches on tackles. Like, there was a couple plays where, there was one play where I got tackled in open space, and, I just pride myself on breaking those kind of tackles. But it's just those little things to, make them big plays going forward. But, I think it was a good first game to get my feet wet, but now it's time to get it going.
Did you feel like you were used differently in this game already compared to last year?
Yeah, I mean, there's more touches. But no, I think it was definitely a good, first time, just trying to adjust to Zac and how he calls plays. And then just, me just trying to do whatever I could, to get us in a good rhythm and get us going. Obviously, like with me and Tyler, we want to, make each other, balanced out as much as we can. But we, don't control that. But for me, I think it was just really, really good to, get the ball in my hand and then feel the contact, because we haven't really felt that all camp.
You were a part of 46% of the offensive plays.
Mm-hmm.
When the game ended, did it feel that way? Did you feel like you were literally probably half of the offense?
No, I didn't even know that. My body felt fine. Thank God. But yeah, I mean, I know I was out there a lot of the time, whether it was blocking or, having the ball or just trying to be a decoy for the play. But it's like I just said, it's whatever I need to do to, make it a disadvantage for the defense. So if it's playing that many snaps, then I got to do it. But if not, then same thing.
Playing against the Eagles, and Saquon's on the other end. When you're on the sideline and say you're not getting coached up, do you ever go out and look at the running back and just watch?
I do all the time. No matter if it's like him or anybody, because obviously you're trying to compete with that other guy during that game. But obviously, like Saquon is, definitely one of my close friends. Even mentor type guys, and I'm super excited to get to go out there and watch him play. Obviously, I don't want him to do nothing special against us, but I definitely can't wait to get to talk to him before the game, and then this is my first time competing against him, so it's gonna be a fun game to get to match up with him and just compete against the different defenses that we're about to play against.
Bijan, you've told us in the past that you do watch other running backs and try to take stuff from their game. What have you noticed in watching Saquon and the way that he operates?
Yeah, I mean, he's super explosive. When he has the ball in open space, he can make things happen, and he can catch the ball at the backfield, which is another great trait of his. And with him, it's just it's downhill, north and south. He's not trying to look to go sideways too much, but even just looking at his game, like, what I took from it is just being explosive when you get the ball in the line of scrimmage. But he does that really well, and it's gonna be a fun one when I get to go out there and play against him and and do the same thing.
You mentioned explosive. That's what Darnell Mooney just said. He thinks this offense can be moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think this offense is capable of?
I mean, the exact same thing. I mean, he hit on the nail. Explosive plays, passing, running the ball. Doesn't matter what it is. Obviously, we gotta just buckle down and do things the right way, and let the game slow down for us. Obviously it was a fast game that we weren't used to on Sunday, but now that we got the speed down and are ready to go, like we just got to just calm down and then just let the explosive plays happen.
Going off of that, I'm curious just how you perceive when you get into the pass catching game a little bit more. Is that something you get a little excited about, or is it just like another rep for you to go through, or is it something where you would like to see that role even evolve a little more as the season goes on?
As I'm always saying, like, I can't really control what we call, but whatever pass plays I do have, like, I'm gonna do my best in trying to make it, the most that I can get it. But whether it's from the flats or from the backfield or actually running a route at receiver, like, whenever Kirk sees you and you're a part of his read, like, you got to do what you got to do with the ball. But if it's, 5 catches, 1 catch, like, trying to make the most out of that play and trying to, be a threat to the defense and that on that part of the ball, like, is something that I really take pride in.
What has Kirk been like this week?
Just fine. Obviously, like, he has, like, so much experience, so I don't think this rattled him at all. And obviously, not we all have not the best games, but with Kirk, and this being his 30th year playing football, like this doesn't affect him at all. And even when he went to the sideline, like during the game, like he was never rattled at all. Like he was always ready to go back out there, for the next drive, new play. But this week he's been great. He's been locked in, and I know he's ready to go for the Eagles.
What has his message been to you all? You said he has that experience. You've been in these situations before, so what has the message been to you from him or to the offense from Kurt?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't really changed. It's we need to play our best game against the Eagles. We can't look what happened last week or get caught in the past. Like we gotta keep moving forward, and we gotta make sure that we're at our best mentally and physically for what's to come on Monday.
And then just want to know, of course, last season, even Sunday, you have certain plays where you juke someone and have them looking crazy. Do you ever go back and just watch the films? I got to see this.
Yeah, I watched the film like the next day, and as a running back unit, and yeah, there was a couple plays out there where it was like, yep, like there it goes. We call them dead bodies in our room. But yeah, it's like some cool stuff that we do. But I'm not like trying to look to do it, but obviously I just with the gift that God's given me, sometimes it happens, and it's always fun to watch it.
Bijan, Coach Morris mentioned that he has a lot of respect for the stout Eagles defense. What are your thoughts since you're about to face them this coming Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a lot of respect as well. I know a lot of those guys on that defense. I played against them in high school, and with Keely Ringo, and even in just 7-on-7, like Keely was one of my best friends. But I have a lot of respect for those dudes. They're super explosive. They're smart, and obviously they're a younger defense, but I think they go out, they get after the ball, and they run to the football, they pursue well. So I have a lot of respect for them as well. But I can't wait to go out and face them and just match their physicality when we do get out there.
Any trash talking between you and Keely?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, me and him, but it's like fun trash talk. Me and him, we talk trash all the time. I'm already texting him now, and I'm not a trash talker at all. Like, I don't say a word, but if I do see Keely and if I catch Keely, like the emotion's coming out. It's coming out.
I'm sorry if you were already asked this, but how much do you believe that rust, quote unquote, really kind of played a factor in this Sunday?
It played a factor a little bit. Obviously, like we haven't been out there, so you're not used to like getting hit, and you're not used to a lot of live bullets coming at you. So I think it was definitely something that we had to come together as an offense and just slow down, because it does come a little faster when you haven't got used to it. But I mean, when you knock it off, like then you're obviously in your flow, and you're obviously ready to go.
Check in on how you're feeling about the Longhorns.
Say it again.
I said check in on how you're feeling about the Longhorns this season.
I mean, we're the best team in college football. I mean, I know, Georgia, whatever, but no, I think it's us. I think it's us.
Mark's message to you guys after Sunday's loss?
Obviously, it's week one. Don't get too low, but understanding that there's an expectation for all of us and what we need to do, and at the end of the day, we got to go out there and score points. If the defense aren't allowing any points, that makes us even look worse. So,
how much do you feel like the Steelers' defense was really indicative of what you guys were limited to do offensively?
Their D-line is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably won't see that again for a little while. I mean, you always got some amazing players that do some things, but as far as the whole D-line, that's probably like the top tier in the NFL for sure. So it definitely gave us some problems. And like I said, week one will be fun. We just got to get it together operational.
You talked about Kurt's message, and Kim earlier was talking about just like accountability. Everyone's coming in here and being like, hey, we're not blaming anyone. Like, here's what I can do better. What have you kind of seen?
As far as from
just everyone, yourself, just anyone that you've noticed.
I mean, I feel like when we get out there to practice today, you'll see the guys that are locked in. I seen today in the walkthrough, Kyle was locked in, more locked in than I've ever seen him. I even gave him like a, hey, I see you locked in, I love it. And but yeah, you see a lot of guys more locked in, even more than the last week. So everybody's taking, noted. So that's not how we want to be. It doesn't feel good. You got Raheem and them. They're still trying to up our spirits, but everybody understands we want to win at the end of the day, and we have to fix everything.
What are ways to up your spirits? Was it just moving on, really? Upping the spirits?
Getting a win, for sure. We want to win, and at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. We're not here for, accolades or anything. The W is what matters. So.
In what way was Kyle more locked in? What did you see out of him?
Just not really talking much, just listening to the plays and getting to the spot and, doing a lot of looking at the defense. Like I said, not a lot of talking. So.
How much does the offense want to go out and obviously put a better performance out there than you guys did in week one?
We want to very, very highly. I mean, that's been the expectation for a while. So, we have to go out there and do us, be us and do what we do at practice, do what we do in camp, do what we did in OTA. So at the end of the day, we just go out there and do that. We won't have any problems.
You kind of mentioned it earlier with the Pittsburgh comment, but just how much did they limit what you guys were able to do? And in doing that, we want to do us kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure on what, obviously TJ was getting back there a little bit, and then Casey and other guys were getting back there a little bit, but just some things that we can, help out everybody that can get the ball out, maybe get the ball out quicker or hold up a little longer. It's a little bit of everybody. So the biggest thing is operational. We have to fix those things. So if we don't get that fixed, we're going to be bad. So.
Is it a little comforting to know, hey, it's just little tweaks, it's not some massive problem we kind of have to figure out?
For sure. It's always good to see that on film. It's not as bad as it looked, as it felt on the during the actual game. So, but like I said, operational, we have to fix that, or it's going to be a long season. So.
Ray, I know that Sunday is not up to your standard offensively for anybody, even though you had a pretty good game. When you look at that game back on film, what stood out to you and things that you guys need to clean up heading into Monday Night Football?
What stood out to me was that we could match physically with anybody. We just got to execute big situations, make bigger plays than the other team, and win on third down. I think that's a big thing for us right now, which happened. And just go out there and play with love, play for your brother next to you, and next play mentality.
One thing that Darnell Mooney said was he believes that this offense can be explosive. What do you think this offense can be?
Very explosive. He said explosive, I said very explosive. It's just like I said, it's about making the catches when our numbers called, and making blocks on the numbers called, because we run a lot of intermediate routes, putting the ball in our playmakers' hands fast. So we just gotta, like I said, love, man, love and effort. Just make the blocks for your brother, and so we got those big plays down the field.
What was Kirk's message to you guys after Sunday?
Next game. Don't let this game define you. There's so much more football ahead of us, and it's our first game together. So.
When you look at the Eagles, what do you see from them?
Physical, which I played them the past 2 years in big time games. So I think one was playoff and last year December sometime. But you got to match your physicality. They're gonna come play. They're gonna make plays. They're gonna put the ball in the air. Like I said, we got to make more plays than them.
What's it like having a first-time offensive play caller in the NFL? What is that relationship like with Zac Robinson?
Fun. Just like your first time when you're a rookie, it's just going out there playing ball. I think there's no difference. I think Z-Rob know what he's doing, know what he wants, and we trust him, and he trusts us. So it's fun. It's just, it's NFL. It's any given Sunday, and it's next game.
There were some good things that you guys did defensively against the Steelers. What stood out to you on tape that you want to build upon heading into Monday Night Football?
I'd say it's still a lot that that has to be adjusted or worked on, but it's just going out of practice today, working on certain adjustments, working on certain things. I think we could have done better last week, so it's a couple more things for sure.
To have Grady Jarrett back and healthy and flying around to the football, how exciting is that?
It's great, seeing him come out, off that injury, and see how much work he's put into being out there with the guys, and it's great seeing him out there with us again.
When you're going up to Philadelphia and you're playing against a quarterback who can do some damage with his legs as well, what's going to be the biggest thing in containing Jalen Hurts?
It's going to be great. We all just got to play as one. You know, we all got to play as one and execute the calls at a very high level. You know.
What's the expectations for you guys defensively as a unit?
The sky's the limit. You know, we just got to keep working. You know, you can't just set something. You can't just say something right now. I feel the big thing is just keep working week in, week out.
And you've done this for a long time. How important, in your opinion, is it for you to look at the fact that this is just 1 week and there is a whole lot of football left to be played?
Most definitely. You know, the approach you take towards it is you make the corrections on Monday. Then after Monday, it's a new week, and you got to get ready for the next opponent.